Hello and welcome to this week's edition of 50 Years Serving the Island, where each week we bring you highlights from Manx Radio's first 5 decades serving the public in the Isle of Man. And as we gear up for the Festival of Motorcycling, this week we go back 30 years to bring you highlights from the first race at the 1988 Manx Grand Prix, the Newcomers race. With commentary from Ballycrane, Ballaugh and the Bungalow, this race features the voices of Maurice Mawdsley, Geoff Cannell, Roy Moore, John Brown and at the grandstand, Peter Kneale.
And the time tells us that we just have 1 minute to go before the start of this 4-lap race. For local interest, let's check on the local riders. In the 1300 class, we have number 7, Phillip Gilmore, number 16, David Black, number 33, Gerald Cavaney, and number 42, Trevor Burton. No representatives from the island in the 350 class, but in the 250 class we have Barry Wood, and he is riding number 73, and number 94, Brian Kneale from Sulby, who was passenger in the sidecar for his father Paul Kneale in the TT. And that's the lineup of locals in this race as we turn our attention now to the starting grid. The 1300s away first, then a gap followed by the 350s, and finally the 250s. But all eyes now turn their attention to number 1. Terry Crane on a Suzuki, comes from Leicester. And His Excellency, the Lieutenant Governor of the Isle of Man, Major General Lawrence New, will start this Newcomers race. He's in the rostrum with Chief Timekeeper Keppel Shuman. The flag just down now, and away we go, and it's number 1, Manx Grand Prix 88 is underway. Next is number 3, David Crompton, and number 4, Christopher Hook. They get the signal now, and that's the order they'll leave, 3 and 4. Number 5, of course, is a non-starter, so number 6, Neil Larsen, the man who borrowed the engine from the Scotsman, and he's very appreciative, and he's away. The first of the locals now, who's figured well on the leaderboard, number 7, Philip Gilmore from Onken, and number 8, Patrick Phillips, and it's 7 and 8 the order as they leave us. Number 9 now, Alan Mcdonald, the man who topped the practice leaderboard at over 106 miles an hour. He gets away on his own, number 10 being the non-starter. And there's a wheelie, a long wheelie, the full length of the pitch from Alan Mcdonald as he got away. He's feeling frisky, there's no doubt about that. I think that's the longest wheelie we've ever seen at the start of a race. Meantime, more sedately, but very quickly, number 11, Simon Beck, and number 12, Nigel Nottingham get the signal. Number 14 is Peter Bradshaw on a Honda from Stamford. He's on a 600 Honda. Now another of the locals, number 16, David Black on an 1100 Suzuki. David from Douglas here in the Isle of Man. He's away safely. Number 17, John Burbage, and number 18, Anthony Harris. They're the next to get the signal, which they do now, and they're away. Number 19, Bob Hornby, and number 20, Arthur Priestley, Honda and Kawasaki respectively. We go ahead of the field now to the motorcycle news box at Ballycrane and Maurice Mawdsley.
Yes, thank you, Peter. There's always an air of expectation in any race, but none more so than the first race of a meeting. And the riders will now be powering their way down towards us, some 7.5 miles away from the grandstand. And of course, as they arrive here, this is the first indication we can get of who might be going particularly well in any race. And of course, with 3 classes in one here, it's quite a problem for the timekeepers around the course. But we'll try and shuffle these into order. There apparently is a machine interview. And the first is David Crompton, number 3, takes the right-hander up towards Ballaspur. Clear road ahead of him, so he's obviously got ahead of this man, number 1, Terry Crane on the 750 Suzuki from Leicester, followed very closely by Christopher Hook on the 750 Yamaha from Southampton. There's Neil Larsen on the borrowed engine, and number 9 and 7 in that order. The first of those, Alan Mcdonald, who had that wheelie at the start, so he's gained a couple of places. He's up and safely way through Ballaspur. So the first half dozen riders are so through here on lap 1 of the Newcomers race. The first man on the road, David Crompton, that's number 11. Simon Beck on the Honda from Preston. Bit of a gap now as the road for the moment goes quiet, but the leader on the road was David Crompton, but the quickest man through here would certainly appear to be Alan Mcdonald. That's Patrick Phillips. He's closely followed by number 12, Nigel Nottingham on the Suzuki from Nantwich. So we're away for the 1988 Manx Grand Prix. A number of riders through here at Ballacrane. The first commentary position some 7.5 miles from the grandstand with the leader on the road, Davy Crompton. But updated times at the moment is that number 9, Alan Mcdonald, leads number 11 and number 32, that's Simon Beck and Brad Ogden. So with that news from Ballacrane on lap 1, it's back to the motorcycle news commentary position at the grandstand.
Where you join us as the last man in the race is just about to receive his signal, and that's the local rider, number 94, Brian Kneale, in the 250 class. All the riders away safely. He gets the signal, he's away now, and we're away ahead of the field once again to the MCN box at Ballaugh.
Yes, and waiting for the first competitor in the 1300 class. First on the road at Ballacrane, number 3, David Crompton, with the race settling down a little bit more by the time they get here. But it's 4 laps, and down to the right-hander now, I get a signal from the flag marshal to say he can hear the bikes. We, protected in the box, can't quite, but now I can hear the machine. Down the left-right sweep at Ballacarbon into my sight. Sounds like 2 bikes to me. Can't see them yet, and the first is in sight now, though, and he's on his own, sweeping across very hard. And it is number 9, Alan Mcdonald. He's flying all right. Literally over the bridge on his own, already first on the road and having made up 30 seconds. On the first starter, second on the road, number 3, David Crompton. A little bit slower, third on the road, Phil Gilmore, and followed by number 6, Neil Larsen. Then 11 is here, Simon Beck, he's shifting. And number 4 is next, Christopher Hook on the Yamaha. But no doubt about it, Alan Mcdonald from Dalbeatty is on his way and is determined to justify that practice position leadership. Another rapid 4-stroke, number 1, Terry Crane, 750 Suzuki, very, very fast. And it's 6 seconds now between the leaders. There's number 12 going through, Nigel Nottingham. It's 9 and 11 still the leaders, and that is Alan Mcdonald and Simon Beck. It's gone out, though, from 4 seconds at Ballacrane to 6 seconds here.
Well, Phillip Mcallen, number 76, is leading on the road in the 250 class at Ballaugh Bridge as we go to the MCN box at the bungalow.
And no doubt, Peter, the effects microphone will be picking up the noise there of number 9, Alan Mcdonald, well on his way up Halewood Rise. In fact, he was so ahead of the field that we actually missed him making that dramatic statement, "There's a bike round the veranda." He came into our view. There's a 2 close together now. 2 more bikes into view here at the bungalow on the first lap of this Newcomers. The first one keels it over. It's number 11 on the NS Honda. That's Simon Beck, closely followed by number 7, Phil Gilmore. Well, it'll be an interesting battle between those 2 there. They're not getting far away from one another as they accelerate up Halewood Rise to Halewood Heights with 2 more machines into view. This is number 6, Neil Larsen, followed by number 3, a bit more sedately, number 3, David Crompton, all leaderboard men, as is this person particularly who's coming into the left-hander into the first of these bungalow bends now, number 4, Christopher Hook. Well, he's sedately off the pace, but Alan Mcdonald really caught us out there, but he's certainly on his way, and well on his way, I would think. He's powered that machine up the mountain mile into that headwind. Number 9 leads by 6 seconds. Number 32, Brad Ogden, leads number 11, Simon Beck, by 11 seconds. From the motorcycle news commentary position at the bungalow, back to the grandstand.
Well, the light is on for number 9. Alan Mcdonald, indicated at signpost corner, leading this opening race of Manx Grand Prix week by 6 seconds from number 32, Brad Ogden. The only light that's on is for number 9. No other machine at signpost corner as yet, so great is the lead he's built up, and all attention turns now towards Governor's Bridge to see the first glimpse of him as he comes onto Glencrutchery Road. And the light is also on now for number 7 and number 11. That's Gilmore and Beck, but here's the leader on the road, number 9, Alan Mcdonald, and he crosses the line now, and we start the watch, and the time difference between 9 and 11 was some 10 seconds. Between 9 and 32 was 2 minutes at the start, and the lights are really coming on now. And an opening lap, we make it unofficially, of 21 minutes 6.4 seconds, 21 minutes 6.4 from a standing start. That's just 1 second outside the lap record. 1 second outside the lap record. As we go over to the motorcycle news box at Ballaugh and Geoff Cannell for updates on other leaderboards.
The 350cc led by number 58, Charles Morgan, 9 seconds ahead of number 65, Kevin Strauger. The 250s led by, needless to say, number 76, Phillip Mcallen, 35 seconds ahead of a joint second position, Darren Powell and Stephen Elliott.
We go now to the MCN box at Ballycrane.
With perfect timing, Peter, because there is the leader, Alan Mcdonald, takes this right-hander in beautiful sunshine here at Ballycrane up towards Ballyspur, safely through on his second lap, and what a tremendous performance. 1 second outside the lap record from a standing start, unofficially 21.6.4 seconds. There's the second man on the road in the 1300, that's Simon Beck on the 498 Honda. There behind him is the local man, Gilmore from Onken. So that's the first three on the road, safely through on lap 2. And of course, at the end of this lap, pit stops are likely to come into play. But an advantage for number 9, Alan Mcdonald, well through, a clear road ahead of him.
And here's Alan Mcdonald now on his second lap. Very neatly over here, number 9. And 27 seconds advantage there on Ogden with 150 to add. So if you're timing it around 2:17 is the gap on your watch between the two riders, numbers 9 and 32, to see if the gap remains the same. If it's more, then Ogden is stretching that lead, and we expect that to be the case.
Well, the news from the bungalow that McDonald still leads. It's increasing to 40 seconds. They'll be soon completing their second lap. From the Motorcycle News commentary position at the bungalow, back to the grandstand.
Well, Alan Mcdonald, number 9, certainly will be completing his lap shortly. He's been indicated at Signpost Corner for some little while, and this looks like being a pit stop. Yeah, looking down to his pit, I see their preparations ready for number 9, Alan Mcdonald, coming in to complete the half distance from Delbeatty. The Scottish riders, and a lot of Scottish wins with Brian Morrison and Steve Hislop in the TT. Are we going to see a Scottish win in the first day of Manx Grand Prix of 1988? And here he is now. Leader on the road, leader of the race. This is going to be a pit stop for number 9, Alan Mcdonald. He crosses the line now, and I think we can go down and join John Brown for a quick description of what's happening down there. John.
Yes, they're coming now. It's a quick pit. The fuel's going in, cleaning the visor. There doesn't seem to be any trouble at all. From looking from here, everything seems 100%. Filler cap on, getting ready, a little... Yes, machine bursts into life. Why again? Absolutely no trouble at all. Everything running 100%. Back to Peter at the grandstand.
Running 100% indeed, because an unofficial lap time of 20 minutes 43.2 seconds for Alan Mcdonald on his second lap. 21 minutes 43.2 seconds, and that is some 22 seconds inside the old lap record for the 1300 class. 20 minutes 43.2 seconds, a new lap record for Alan Mcdonald on his second lap. And here's the first of the pit stops for number 7, Philip Gilmore, and also number 11, Simon Beck, coming in for their stops. Lying third and fourth in the race at the moment, but Philip Gilmore now got ahead of Simon Beck, and it's important now for these pit stops who's going to be first away. The petrol being poured in, visors and screens being wiped. Both riders looking really unconcerned, just sat astride. Nothing, of course, they can do. It's up to their pit crew to get that machine topped up and ready for another 2 laps, 75 miles of racing. And who's going to be away first? It looks like it's going to be number 11, Simon Beck. It is, and he goes on the inside of number 7, just casually, overtakes him on the inside. He's away, so 11 gets away ahead of number 7. Meantime, while we've been talking, the time is ticking on, and number 32, Brad Ogden, is indicated at Signpost Corner, and is now 2.5 minutes since Alan Mcdonald crossed the line. 2 of them here in very close company. One of these should be Brad Ogden. Which one is it? The first one? It is. He crosses the line. I stopped my watch on 2 minutes and 37 seconds, which would indicate a lead of 47 seconds for number 9, some 47 seconds ahead of number 32, Brad Ogden, at the end of the second lap, which is half distance.
You're listening to 50 Years Serving the Island, a series of programmes featuring highlights from Manx Radio's archives during the station's first 5 decades serving the public in the Isle of Man. Today, we bring you highlights from the 1988 Manx Grand Prix Newcomers race, the first racing action in that year's MGP calendar.
And we'll go now to the MCN box at Ballaugh for news on the 350s from Geoff.
Yes, leading the race, number 58, Charles Morgan, 46 seconds ahead of number 65, Kevin Strauger. and 9 seconds between him and the third place man, which is number 57, and that's Barry Dixon. We also have the 250s on lap 2. The leader, number 76, Phillip Mcallen, 1 minute and 57 seconds ahead of number 90, and that's Darren Powell. And in fact, we do now go over to Maurice Mawdsley at the MCN commentary box at Ballacrane.
Yes, thank you, Geoff. We await the arrival of number 9, Alan Mcdonald. As you speak, there he is. He takes this right-hander up towards Ballaspur for the third time, having had his pit stop, and a tremendous advantage of something in the order of 47 seconds there at the grandstand. So some considerable time to wait, but a tremendous lap by number 9, Alan Mcdonald, which I think should be 20 minutes 43.2. But a beautiful morning here for the Newcomers race, and that, of course, is assisting these speeds. Here's the second man on the road in the 1300, Simon Beck. Not far behind him is Gilmore, the 29-year-old bricklayer from Onken. Third place on the road there for Gilly, and about fourth place overall, because we've got to slot in number 32, Brad Ogden. But the road completely quiet in beautiful conditions, and certainly the speeds are proving that. Back to Peter Kneale at the MCN grandstand.
When number 76 is in the pits, that's Phillip Mcallen. There seems to be a problem with the machine. Let's go down and join John Brown.
Not too much of a problem, I'm glad to say. The excitement down here is that the rear chain is being adjusted, quite a bit of slack. They've done, that has been sorted out. They've put on 4 gallons of fuel, and something a little bit different here. You'll notice he's got a different colour helmet on now for the rest of the race. Instead of cleaning the visor, they've actually changed the entire helmet, much quicker, they think. But the little bit of drama down was simply adjusting the rear chain, Peter, and everything else is fine. Back to Peter Kneale at the grandstand.
Right, well, we can just confirm that the second lap for number 9, Alan Mcdonald, was 20 minutes 43 seconds, 109.27. Obviously a new lap record as we go to the MCN box at Ballaugh.
Yes, well, Alan Mcdonald has gone through here, but obviously the excitement of the chain adjustment to Mcallen there overrode that, and quite rightly too, because although John Brown made it sound pretty casual, in fact rear chain adjustments for race leaders are not all that common, I wouldn't have thought. Here's 2 riders now. These are second and third on the road, and there's only one 350 ahead of Mcallen. I made it last time round here. 7 and 11 these are. Philip Gilmore and Simon Beck. Well, Beck is going well. Gilmore also is on the leaderboard. In fact, they are third and fourth respectively, and the gap was said to be 22 seconds at Ballacrane between those 2 riders. This is very, very rapid. Number 32, Brad Ogden, running in second position. I think that's it then from Ballaugh for now as we await the arrival of the 350s, or will it indeed be the 250s? I don't think so. I think indeed it will be still a 350, and we expect first on the road then to be the blue-plated Charles Morgan, number 58. But temporarily at least, we return you to the Motorcycle News commentary point at the grandstand.
Oh, here's some news. Number 76, Phillip Mcallen, on his second lap, 21 minutes 33.6 seconds, an average speed of 105 miles an hour. And believe it or not, that's 1 minute 10.8 seconds inside the old record. 21 minutes 33.6, 105 miles an hour. His average speed for the race so far is 103.69, and up to today we didn't have a 100-mile-an-hour lap in the Newcomers 250, and his lead is 2 minutes 47.8 seconds. That was at the end of lap 2 as we go quickly now to the MCN box at Ballacrane.
Yes, indeed, Peter, and I must admit that speed doesn't really surprise us, and I can tell Geoff to look for the green plate, not the blue plate, because Phil Mcallen is ahead of Charles Morgan, so he's ahead of all the 350s. Just quickly can tell you that Morgan leads Strauger by 1 minute and 5 in the 350s, and in third place in the 350s, number 57, Barry Dixon, who is 22 seconds on Strauger, and with that, back to the Motorcycle News commentary position up at the bungalow.
Well, thank you, Maurice, and we're going to get him this time, number 9. We've got plenty of time to catch him. We haven't seen the bikes round the veranda yet. There's a tram just arrived up from Laxey. Number 9 into the left-hander, and he's been remarkably steady and very quickly through as well. Number 9, Alan Mcdonald, well on his way. Well, we missed him the first 2 laps, but we've got him this time on his third lap now. Powered his way up that mountain climb and well ahead in the race. A nice, comfortable position. It was no surprise surprise at all to hear that lap of Phillip Mcallen. He did actually get ahead of the 350s before the start. He was ahead here on the roads going through the bungalow on that last lap. So we do believe that Mcallen is through Balaf Bridge, and we're still waiting for the second man on the road at the bungalow. So I think Miss Mcallen won't get anywhere near number 9, but here he is, Phil Gilmore. He's got ahead of a number 11 again, and he seems to be making a bit of a charge as well. Here he is, number 11 now, Simon Beck, safely through the bungalow. So they went out of the pit ahead of Phil Gilmore, but he's passed him and taken it up. A bit of local knowledge there by Phil, who I know regularly circulates the TT course on a Sunday afternoon on that particular bike. Back to the grandstand.
It is indeed Alan Mcdonald, number 9, crosses the line. Now he's away on his final circuit, a signal given to him, and he's got an advantage of 62 seconds, which means we've got something, believe it or not, something like 2 minutes and 50 seconds to wait before the second man comes through. Quite remarkable the way Alan Mcdonald's just pulled away and continues to. And we can catch up now with news on the 350s by joining Geoff at the MCN box at Balaf.
Yes, the bulk of them, in fact, are going through now, mixed up with the quicker of the 250s, but Mcallen has gone a long time ago, and he's passed the lot, as we've already heard. So 350 times are what we're computing at the moment, or Tim O'Hanlon is, and he's welcome to do it as well. It's a murderous job, especially with 3 classes. Leading is number 58. In the 350s, Charles Morgan, 68 seconds, 1 minute 8 seconds ahead of number 65, Kevin Strauger. But back to Peter Kneale, MCN Grandstand.
And as I said, it looks like number 7 could have just taken the second place from number 11, and we're just working it out now. Indeed he has. No, not, it's 1 second the difference now. Number 11 Beck is just 1 second ahead of number 7 Phillip Gilmore, so that could be a change on the leaderboard. They're battling for 3rd and 4th place. 1 second between them. That's an interesting time we'll be looking for from Maurice at the MCN box out there at Ballacrane.
And there's the race leader, number 9, Alan Mcdonald, 4th and final time through Ballacrane up towards Ballaspur, safely away. A tremendous performance by Alan Mcdonald. So he's safely away on his 4th lap. As I say, he's gone up towards Ballaspur, round that corner. Interesting corner there at Ballaspur. That's where Percy Tate some years ago struck the rock face on the inside. That was a back marker just going through here in the 250 class, as there was that number 66 that was Sean Campion in the 350. But certainly Alan Mcdonald safely away through. He's got 1 or 2 back markers to overtake. There is Phil Gilmore, safely through for the 4th time, the second man on the road in the 1300s. So it would appear that we get the watch going now. He may well have got ahead, and in fact into 3rd place, relegating Simon Beck to 4th. And with that, back to the motorcycle news commentary position at the grandstand.
Yeah, just confirmation of the lap leaders in Class 1 at the end of lap 3. The advantage Alan Mcdonald had over Brad Ogden here was 1 minute 3.6. Number 32, Ogden in turn, was 1 minute 21.4 seconds ahead of number 11, Simon Beck, who was just 1 second ahead of number 7, Phil Gilmore, which is now changed, of course. Then there was a gap of 1 minute and 58 seconds to the 5th place man. That's number 3, David Crompton. And the 6th place man, number 6, was 24.6 seconds down on the 5th place man, number 6, being Kneale Larsen. We'll look at that later as we go now to the MCN box at Balaf.
Yes, indeed, it is amazing, isn't it, where this new talent keeps coming from. And here now is Macdonald. Listen to the noise of the big 4-stroke. Yes, changing up early there. Caution prevails, as well it might, with half a lap remaining, 20 miles, in fact. So here's number 83 now in the 250 category, so clearly difficulties for Richard Evans, and amazingly Macdonald not only has the lead of the race, the lap record, the race record, and goodness knows what else, but is miles ahead on the road as well, riding from number 9, where he was 40 seconds behind the first man to set off in this race.
The race leader in the 1300 class could possibly be the 2nd fastest winner ever in the history of the Manx Grand Prix, and it was only last year that Brian Rayner in the 87 senior averaged 107.20. So the speeds are there, the conditions must be good, and we're going now to the MCN box at the bungalow.
Well, thank you, Peter. There's a rider coming round, the first right-hander in, but he's going a bit sedately. I don't think it's him. It's in yellow plates. No, it's one of the back-enders, but probably out enjoying himself, no doubt. Number 25. Beautiful sounding. Well, that's one of the old VSA triples. Number 25 there. Number 25, Alan Harling on one of the Tridents. Well, they've had a bit of history around the Isle of Man circuit. When Maurice was mentioning Percy Tate, I remember him riding one round here, and also I believe Alex George and the late great Mike Hailwood. As soon as you talk about the mountain circuit, you hear about Mike Hailwood. He's one of the all-time greats, but he is the leader. Number 9, he's just going to gobble up somebody on the corner. Well, he's not gobbled him up, he's done it very nicely indeed. 34 there, just going to be overtaken by the leader, but he'll probably be let out for his last lap. Duncan Wood. Number 34 came in. Number 9, Alan Mcdonald, sedately behind him. Didn't take any chances, didn't carve him up or anything. Number 56 there, safely through. He's in the 250 class, is he? No, he's in the 350 class. David Owen, he's safely through, and he'll probably get this 4th lap of the Newcomers race and probably go back and tell everybody about it 4 laps. We did notice, though, that the leader, or the current leader of the 350 class, going through there, number 58, Charles Morgan, we'll have to give him a slap on the wrist, a little bit ragged. He kind of came in a little bit too quick, just drifted wide. Not quite over the tram lines, he just got onto the loose gravel a bit, and we can tell you that it's still maintaining that advantage. 55 seconds. Number 9, Alan Mcdonald, he'd be well on his way now to winning this 1,000 class. Leads number 32, Brad Ogden, by 55 seconds. Phil Gilmore, 1 minute and 45 seconds down on Ogden. From the Motorcycle News commentary position at the bungalow, back to the grandstand.
Well, we look now for the light to come on for number 9, the first winner, and the light comes on as I talk. And on our timings here, we have it at number 76, Phillip Mcallen. Believe it or not, if it was an overall race, he would be lying 5th overall on a 250 machine in among the 1300s. His 5th fastest time, and he's leading the 250s by a mile. But he'd be 5th overall, which is quite a remarkable performance, well ahead of any of the... And Morgan, the leader of the 350s, I'm told, is through Belaf Bridge. But we turn our attention now to this gentleman, number 9, Alan Mcdonald, the winner of the 1300 class, raises his right hand off the bar in triumph. And meantime, another rider going through to complete his 4th lap is number 53 in the 350 class, and that is Noel O'Shaughnessy. So number 9 has finished. And, well, we've got about 2 minutes to wait, I suppose, before the next rider comes into view. The 6 club teams, as we said, started, and we make it that there is, 2 still circulating, though one of them, number 53, O'Shaughnessy, has in actual fact on the board just completed, he's done 2 laps now. A slow second lap, so it looks like the Whittle 100 of Wilson, Dixon and Moore are favourites to take the club team prize in the Newcomers race. Meantime, the finishing time for, in fact, a last lap for Alan Mcdonald of 21 minutes 9.6 seconds, unofficially 21 minutes 9.6, and a time for the race of 1 hour 14 minutes 31 seconds. 1 hour 14 minutes 31 seconds.
You've been listening to this week's edition of 50 Years Serving the Island, where we featured highlights of the 1988 Manx Grand Prix Newcomers race, with commentary from Peter Kneale, Maurice Mawdsley, Geoff Cannell, Roy Moore and John Brown. The winners in their respective classes were Alan Mcdonald, Charles Morgan and Phillip Mcallen, and you'll soon be able to hear the full race commentary along with many other programmes and features from Manx Radio's archives by going to manxradio.com/portal.